The miracle record breaker, baby girl born with a ruptured intestine 1 week before the abortion deadline becomes world's youngest to survive stomach surgery. A baby girl born just 1 week before the abortion deadline has become the world's youngest to survive major abdominal surgery. Abiageal Peters, from Surrey, was born after just 23 weeks, weighing just a tiny 1.3 pounds. Having a ruptured intestine in 3 places, doctors were in a rush to operate on her to keep her alive. Unable to open her eyes or make any noise, her mother, Louise, 32, was terrified that she wouldn't survive. But when she was just 6 days old, she defied the odds after the procedure proved to be a success. Mrs. Peters, married to David, 43, said, "Our baby girl was a fighter. She truly is our little miracle. She stayed in intensive care for a while and overcame many more hurdles, but she kept fighting and we are so pleased with how she is doing today." She added, "We agreed to the operation, despite the risks associated with it, as we knew she wouldn't survive without it. After she'd gone into theater, Dave and I sat in a room for what was probably the longest 3 hours of our lives, waiting for the surgical team to tell us the outcome. When the door opened and one of the surgeons came into the room, we just looked at his face without hearing the words and we knew, she was okay. He was smiling." Mrs. Peters gave birth to Abiageal at just 23 weeks gestation at St. Peter's Hospital in Surrey last October after going into premature labor. But the mother, who already had 1 child, was quickly transferred to the neonatal unit at St. George's Hospital, Tooting. The couple are baffled as to why Abiageal, who has an Irish name, was born prematurely, as both Mrs. Peters' pregnancies had progressed with no problems. They were able to spend a brief amount of time with her at the hospital after she was born and put on life support. Doctors soon suspected there was a problem with her bowels as her stomach was turning black. They also feared her body was shutting down. She had developed a severe condition called perforated necrotizing enterocolitis, NEC, and she was transferred to St. George's. NEC most often affects premature babies and occurs when intestinal tissue becomes damaged and begins to die. During the operation, the surgical team opened her abdomen, where 3 ruptures were found in her intestine, causing contamination and infection throughout her abdomen. A section of her intestine was removed and her abdomen was thoroughly washed. A temporary stoma, like a colostomy bag, was inserted during the challenging operation, which lasted less than an hour and involved specialist tiny equipment. Consultant pediatric surgeon Zahid Mukhtar, from St. George's, led the 10-strong team that operated on Abiageal. Mr. Mukhtar has examined published literature and spoken to pediatric surgical colleagues across the country and says he believes she is the youngest patient to survive major abdominal surgery. He said, "Abiageal is a unique case and we only chose to operate because her chances of survival without surgery were so small," he said. "The fact she survived the operation, and is now doing so well, is fantastic news. We will continue to monitor her closely, but all the signs suggest we should be optimistic about her long-term prognosis." This is credit to Abiageal, her family, as well as the surgical, medical, and nursing teams involved in looking after her. Abiageal is now at home near Esher after celebrating her original due date on February 19.